Graham Simpson is a violist in the Queensland Symphony Orchestra. Graham began the viola in high school and pursued tertiary study at the University of Western Australia. However, things did not go to plan and he failed his degree twice and then was left with little to no options. After failing his degree, he decided to go to Tasmania to try to participate in the String Summer School and ended up doing so. There he was recommended to seek out lessons with Jan Certifica, and after having one lesson, he moved to Tasmania to enroll. After he went through 2 strenuous years of technique rebuilding, he then decided that he would move to Melbourne to freelance auditions for a year. After a year of freelancing, an orchestral position for Queensland Symphony Orchestra was advertised, and Graham had decided to move to Queensland. After doing some casual jobs for QSO, 18 months later, after he was offered a full-time position with QSO, to which he accepted and still upholds that position now. Graham replicates Ruth Bridger-Stock's career employability skills for creative workers, more specifically career building, looking for hidden opportunities, and passionasse. Raquel Bastos is currently the head of strings at Villanova College. Raquel trained as a classical musician in a conservatory in Portugal. However, even after acquiring jobs in orchestral positions, she felt as though that she still needed to study more.
Studied in Europe and then went to the States, did my doctorate.
Oh, wow.
And then here I came to Australia and worked with the Queensland Symphony Orchestra for a little while, and then kind of realized that my passion was actually in teaching. So I've kept my performance going, my career in performance going with chamber music and stuff. I kind of stepped out of the orchestra and went into teaching, and I am now head of strings at Villanova College.
Raquel applied the skills of Ruth Bridstock's social network capability as she traveled across the world, actively making connections which she still uses today. A performing musician's career often has a fluctuating income involved with positive and negative experiences. As discussed in our lectures, resilience is one of the most important attributions to have as a musician. However, resilience does not come without adversity.
The lowest would have, when failed my degree the second time. That was a pretty low point. Or not being able to get, having done all that work, 2 years of extra work, still not being able to get a job.
Graham's career aligns with the chaos theory by John Schlesinger. Schlesinger states within this pathway it is vital to gain comfort within uncertainty and make decisions with limited or partial information. As mentioned in Chapter 11, Graham uses the reflection and action technique in both these cases. Instead of rejecting emotions such as depression, nervousness, and/or anxiety, he allows himself to experience these emotions, and using his prior understanding, he makes decisions that will overall result to a change within his situation.
Taking beta blockers, I had to go to the doctor and they put me on beta blockers for a week and come back in a week and see what that does to you. And then so before an audition, I think I took a whole tablet, and when I wanted to get excited, I couldn't. So I didn't get that job either. But then I think I took half a tablet, and that was the right dose. But I've never taken them since. I thought, because not being able to get a job, that was screwing up my life. For concerts, sure it matters, but nobody dies, and nobody loses a job. It's not that important. And if you use this crutch all the time, who are you?
Unlike Graham, this aligns with Humboldt-Hapstand's learning theory. Raquel realized that career and personal aspects are strongly related and decided to choose the career path of teaching, which she was most satisfied with.
When I started my doctorate, I was thinking I'm going to quit this music thing I think every time I've held an orchestra job, so I was coming out of one into my doctorate, I felt that way, and that's kind of what made me realize that my passion was in teaching and not in being in an orchestra. So I think
Graham faced complications with finances throughout his early music career.
While I was being a student, I was working in Moscow during the daytime. I was working in arts orchestra, the opera orchestra, in the night time.
Yeah.
Teaching 4 mornings a week before school. Had a couple of private students. Playing in youth orchestra on Saturday mornings. Playing at least one amateur orchestra on another night.
The following graph is from musicians surveyed in 2017 about their careers. If you notice, only 54.1% felt as though they had some sort of job security. Unfortunately, to acquire a full-time position within an orchestra, most of the time to get your foot in the door, you need to freelance on a sessional basis, which means there is no minimum level of work guaranteed, and the auditions are very competitive. As time went on, Graham came to realize this, and he began to learn career self-management through experience and trial and error. Both Graham and Raquel found difficulty in answering this question and also had similar answers. Graham stating he tries to show what the power of music is and how it can range from a simple tool of enjoyment to even a tool for survival. Similarly, Raquel tries to relate music to people's personal passions, as music can be found almost anywhere. Raquel says to play as much as you can, quote, play in 100,000 groups if you can. Raquel's suggestions align with the idea of becoming a portfolio musician discussed in Preparing for Success. A portfolio musician is skilled and work in several parts of the industry, so I will be ready for whatever the music industry may put me through. The final piece of advice from Graham was my favorite, as it shows a passion and underlying love for the instrument.
Study as long as you can, and never think you've got it all.
Yeah.
Nobody's got it all.